Hello? Am I live? Hello, hello, hello. I think I'm live. Hello, hello. Is anybody here? I'll give it a few seconds for some folks to join. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope everyone is managing, you know, uh, during this time of crisis. Hi, Poets in Pajamas. Hello, hello, hello. I'm gonna give it about maybe, I don't know, another minute, then I'll jump into introducing myself. Um, I had the opportunity to share with you some poetry, which I'm really excited about. Um, I'm talking about how I'm gonna give you all 60 seconds to join in, and I probably won't wait that long because I'm so excited, and I'll just start blabbing off at the mouth. Uh, Growing up, we called that the gift of gab in Brooklyn. Okay, so my name's Rashaun J. Allen, and I'm a poet. Um, I teach. I'm a professor at several colleges. I've been writing, since um, a young person. I can go in and talk about accolades and degrees and things like that, but I don't want to share that. I want to share really why I write. I write because it's the one place, or one of the few places, as a black man and grown from a young black man, that created a space to be heard, and that's something that stayed with me, ever since I can remember. And that's the essence of why I write. So of course, when it comes to the topics, what I share really revolves around the Black experience in America. So I'm going to share. Hello, hi, Lori. A couple poems from my recently independently published poetry book, The Blues Cry for a Revolution. What is it about? It is essentially a collection of poems that describe the Black experience in different perspectives, how we navigate, um, how some things happen to us and it's unknown. We hear about the worst case scenarios, how some of us resist, and how some of us just kind of like bystand. So these poems dive into all of that. And feel free to ask any questions. If you can't hear me, to type it in. Of course, if you want to follow what I do beyond this, on all my social media pages, it's Rashaun J. Allen. And my website as well, RashaunJAllen.com. And if anyone's interested, you can get this wherever books are sold, such as Amazon. Or if you're more wanting to support local, you can go to bookshop.org, or my page where I have a couple limited copies. So with that said, I think I'm gonna jump right in it. I was trying to feel like, what am I gonna read? What am I gonna read? And I said, you know what? I'll let it come naturally. I'm gonna try to get maybe 2 to 3. Where can we buy the books? You can get them on Amazon.com. You can get them at my website. I have a few that I can sign and ship at RashaunJAllen.com. And you can also go say to like bookshop.org and wherever books are sold, really. Okay. I'll probably type it in at some point just so everyone can get that. But I know I'm on time, so I want to jump into the first poem. I'm typing it in real quick. Sorry. Thank you. So this poem is called Prose to the Silent Conscious Man. 1. I don't know how to reach you, since when you speak in person or through social media, you are aware of current events. 2. I see you in every man who goes to work and comes home to watch sports until you ask a direct question. What do you think about the systematic incarceration of Black and brown people who are locked up disproportionately to white people despite committing crimes at similar rates? 3. My granddad, father, uncles, cousins, and myself have been placed in handcuffs. I want to tell you why I write my days away. 4. The more I write, the more I discover our narrative was meant to be forgotten. 5. Because my father didn't bond with his dad, my conscience screams, it's okay to repeat family history. 6. Nor does my family share memories. I write in my journal, reflecting over the silence that filled my granddad's room when asked about his childhood. 7. 8. There was a loose paper left by my great grandma, my granddad's mom. It held names and places of people who were kin to me, but strangers at the same time. 9. You are like Wi-Fi. 10. When I want to connect, you are not in service for Black lives. 11. A survival tactic, I'm sure. 12. I need to learn how we can thrive without you. 13. And still be open to you when you're ready. 14. As if you're a branch from my family tree. Thank you. Again, that piece was called Prose to the Silent Conscious Man. Hey, Rose. Snap, snap. Thanks. All right. As I said, any questions? If you couldn't hear me, any of those things, feel free to ask. I know there's a delay between me talking and then seeing the responses. So we're going to bear with each other while we navigate this, okay? Okay, great. So this next piece is called For Brown Girls Whose Names Never Amber Alert. On my Facebook news feed, I unsee Black girls missing. A Black girl, now just Black. I unhang up the video chat with my sister. She untells me about her day. I take back my advice, make us trouble, ignore. She unlaughs. They don't know who she is. I undecided to say what I didn't follow at 16. Unwalk inside my apartment to unshow her the proximity of New Jersey stores, the bus stop, the diner, the park. I unlost the words to say, I love you and I care. They came out as, wherever I am, you're welcome here. The brief silence unechoed the states between us. She unasked me what I was doing. I unwatched her grow from a young lady to a girl. I forgot her smile shines in a dark room. Her name unslipped from my tongue. Her face I could no longer see. She's no longer in the family pictures, but she's closer than my skin to me. My skin unattached to my body unreceived oxygen. Missing never felt like death till a life's taken from you while you're both still breathing. Okay. Whew. That one always gets me worked up. We sure need to bring more attention to the Black girls who go missing. And okay. Y'all want to hear another one? So I know what some of you thinking, like, what inspired some of these pieces? Where'd you get this from? You know, a lot of times these pieces come from conversations I may have with loved ones or conversations I can't have, to things that I read on the news, to just what comes out of trying to make a habit out of writing often, you know. Okay. All right. The next one we got here. Oh, I'm gonna go with a short one. I might can get two short ones in here. This one is called, it's a short one, short and sweet. This one is called A Stolen People. We, a stolen people, live and die on stolen land. Land stolen. We, a stolen people, die without living. Living without dying. We, a stolen people, have invisible dreams. Dreams, invisible. We, a stolen people, struggle to imagine. Imagine. We, a stolen people, were people. Okay. Whew. I think I might could squeeze in another one. You know what? I'm gonna go with this poem, another short one. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I see the fire. I see the love, the ending. Thank you, Michael. This piece right here is called Graffiti. He could be an athlete, a dog, a star, but growing up in the summer, responding to life is deadly. There's a double consciousness in his head. Many will write off his ability as a follower with no future. But can a rose bloom through concrete? He changes his C's to B's and offers us on Twitter his benumdrum. Thank God for life, but I'll send anybody to hell. There's a glance of unfuckwittable pride. Surely he learned it from a buzzin'. He wants love, but the streets are undefeated, and he drifts away. A bipedal seventh letter, unbothered, his splattered brains will be a rival's street art. Whew. That's one's Graffiti. So all of those poems that I shared are again from my, whoa, what happened there? Oh, from the Blues Cry for a Revolution. And I don't know if I mentioned it in the beginning, but I see you, Karan. Thank you. But this collection is broken down into three parts. The unknown victims, which is the first section. It's kind of almost to pay homage and to those whose names we never get to hear, and they still face tragedy. So many of us. For those who watches the second section, that's really geared towards the perspective of folks who are aware of what happens, but they kind of just mind their business, you know. That's where Pros to the Silent Conscious Man comes from. It's in that section. And the third is what's my third section? Oh, for those who resist. That's kind of that, you know, revolutionary spirit, but it's not always in the form of activism. Shows up in many different forms, and that section takes on that. Can you tell us about the title of the book? Oh, the Blues Cry for Revolution, certainly. So just to kind of give some context, right? Initially, it was called Real Art Protest, then Brevity of a Black Boy, but those names sort of dissolved as the poems kind of grew in length and depth. Actually, there wasn't really like a aha moment or when the name came, but in a sense, it was like, how could I, in as limited as words as possible, get the message across that I want to convey? And then I thought about, you know, rhythm and blues. And I was okay, blues, because I think, you know, that's a big part of what we're facing. And the cry almost represents sort of being heard. So you break it down almost like the blues being a cry to be heard for change. And I thought it was a creative way to sounding an alarm of what needs to happen. And despite, you know, I don't know who said it. So this is a quote from somebody, but it's gonna coin what I wanted to get across. It says like, when white America gets a cold, Black America gets the flu. Right? That's not my words. They're a quote from somebody, but that essentially is what I try to convey with this, because not everybody is privy to different perspectives, and that doesn't mean that there's that different groups of people don't have issues that need to be addressed, and or that there are not different groups of people who have intersecting issues. What I'm simply writing is the issues that are reflective of what I experienced as a young person to today, and also you know, being a voice to inspire those who feel that they're not heard, to hopefully, if they choose, to use creative means to get that across. And my creative mean is the written word. Is there any other questions anyone has? Thank you, David. That was a great question. So I'll just, because this is probably my introduction to a lot of you. I'm also gonna, like, I just want to show y'all the rest of what I got. So this is actually the third collection that I put together. There are other two: A Walk Through Brooklyn, My Baby, the first one, and In the Moment. They're also available at the same outlets as the Blues Cry for a Revolution. What I hope to do, really, when it comes down to writing, is inspire people. So whenever I get a chance to talk in the voice, okay, I see you, Sarah. Whenever I get a chance to voice myself, I try to share the ups and downs, right? Like, oh, what are my habits of writing? Do you write every day? You know, some weeks I write often, and then sometimes I don't. But let me answer this question: how does voice and persona interact within your work? Okay, so that's a great question. I'm not totally sure I can answer that as accurately as I want, but let's take a shot. So voice is critical to the piece to the pieces in the sense that when you hear the words spoken out loud, they resonate differently than when you just read them. And as far as interacting with persona, I'd say that many of the pieces takes on different sort of points of views and perspectives. Is not entirely framed one way, um, and that came intentionally with the understanding that like all groups of people, Black people are not a monolith, so there's many different experiences is within the group. So that's kind of how I approach the material. That was a great question. Um, so yeah, in terms of um, like the habits of a writer, or I think it boils down to what are my habits as a writer, or how to be an effective writer, or how to break ground as a writer. I think initially it boils down with making a personal decision that you decide to right? Regardless of what noise is coming at you. Oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that. You make that decision, and you don't just make that decision on Monday, but you make that decision on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and so forth. And you try to carve out what it is you want to say from there. And I think a lot of times, or at least some artists, myself included, um, reading other works are a great way to engage, right? Because a lot of times, what we're doing as writers, whether you're a poet, whether yeah, or poet, fiction writer, or even people in different mediums, you're having conversations. You're having conversations directly with the people. You're having conversations directly with your audience and other writers. There's quite a few poems that have been inspired by other poets. You know, and I mean, it's probably I heard them. Oh my gosh, I feel like writing just off of what I heard and listened to. That kind of inspiration. Um, so though that's um, just a kind of a snapshot into that. Any other questions? Hmm. Let's see. Habits of a writer. We talked about inspiration. Hey, big cuz, I see you, P. Um, I'm trying to think what other things is interesting, right? That you may want to know. Are there any other poets I'd like to boost? You know what? That's a great question. So there's some poets that I actually uh, wrote about them and think them in my work. I might as well, say some of those names publicly, right? So some of the folks who inspired my work, Mahogany Brown, um, Tammy Lopez, Claudia Rankine, Terrence Hayes, Jacqueline Woodson, Vivi Francis, Nate Marshall. Did I forget anybody? Afua Ansar, I think I mispronounced her last name. Danny Smith, and I'm gonna try to get her name right because sometimes I mispronounce it. Sophia Alijo. I think I mispronounced her last name. Um, but those are some of the poets that inspired my work and still inspire me. Can you walk through your growth from your first project to this most recent one? Wow. Um, I think if I boiled it down to some essential gems with the first project, I think it comes down to being able to do something but not knowing exactly what I was doing. Like, okay, it's like riding a bike. I could just get on a bike and I could ride it, but I didn't know the technical parts about it. And I say that to say when it came to like my first project, a walk through Brooklyn, I knew I had a story to tell. I knew I had I knew I wanted to share um, what was going on, quite frankly, in my neighborhood and in my personal life in a way that I knew others could relate to. And it kind of hit me when I performed on stage, and a guy pulled me to the side, was like, "Yo," he said something to the effect like, um, "That's exactly how I feel, but I never had the words to say it," you know. And I think one of those moments was a moment like that. That's when it hit me that what I'm doing, it isn't just a personal journey. It isn't just a personal journey. Like there's a collective experience. There's more to it than just the I. So I kind of just said, hey, I'm gonna write. That was just one of those decisions. I'm gonna write, and I'm gonna collect some of the writings that I did before, and see if some of the poems that were created kind of relate to each other, maybe thematically, and see what I got. And when I did that, I realized collecting and writing that there was a whole project here. And from there, I went to sort of trying to make, getting it out there any way possible, whether it was initially going and performing it, then it was, reaching out to, small presses and sending to contests. Then it was, you know what, I think we can create this space independently to really make a imprint. As far as with this project now, or even like with my second project, in the moment, the whole idea around that was really to capture that defining moment where people can make, those sort of life or death decisions, right? And they're not always like, oh, if you make this decision, you're gonna die. If you make this decision, you're gonna live a fruitful life. Sometimes they're like a decision you make in a casual way that just has that kind of ripple effect. So that's where in the moment came from. It was a challenge to really capture that specific moment in Black lives. In terms of the blues cries for a revolution, I think I wanted to try to be as versatile as possible in terms of the message and the delivery. The types of poems I was trying to write was much different than say where a walk through Brooklyn might have focused more on free verse. This the Blues Cry for a Revolution. There's so many different kinds of types of poems in there that some of them were challenging to write. Some of them I was scratching my head with, but I really wanted to push the envelope as a poet and a storyteller with the last project. Thank you for that question, Karan. That was a good one. I think might have time for one more question. And in the meantime, while the question comes on the live feed, again, if you, I'd love to, add you, or you add me, or we add each other on in social media. At Rashaun J. Allen. That's my Twitter. That's my Instagram. I think on Facebook I'm author Rashaun J. At Rashaun J. Allen author. Would love to keep the conversation going. And before I forget, I want to take the time to thank Erin, Anna, Sundress Publications, and Poets in Pajamas for this opportunity. Thank you very much, and I look to keep the finger snapping going. Take care. And if you before I forget, if you're interested in signed copies, I'm gonna post the direct link off our page. If you're interested in signed copies. All right, I'm going now.